You're watching the Illinois Players Show on Fan Media Network. I'm Patrick Quinn, and my co-host is Flying Illini member Marcus Liberty. Okay, today's show, it's our first show, Marcus, and there's so much to talk about. And I don't want to say there's so much to talk about on every show, but when you have a game that was canceled by COVID to Michigan. Then you have two games that are rescheduled, and you have Illinois coming off a huge win off Wisconsin. I would say that's some huge news to talk about, wouldn't you?
Definitely some good news to talk about. And to all of our listeners that want to hear from a former player talk about the current team.
And that's why you're here, man. So let's dive right in. Illinois and Nebraska came to an agreement on Friday that they would play each other. Because they both had an open night to play. Illinois was supposed to be playing against Michigan, but Michigan has COVID issues, and I'm not sure really if they will play another game this season. But besides the point, Illinois is playing against Nebraska, who has not won a Big Ten game yet this season.
Yeah, and it's easily we can look at this game as a trap game. Nebraska haven't won a game. Illinois can go in there thinking that overlooking them, and it can actually turn out the other way around if they're not focused.
And see, that's exactly what I was thinking. How many times have we seen, whether we're talking Illinois football or basketball, trap games? They're notorious for that. Look at, you could say the same thing for Illinois and versus Wisconsin last season, 2 years ago, when Illinois upset Wisconsin at Memorial Stadium. That was a trap game because I think Wisconsin had a game with Michigan that they were looking forward to. But the main point is with this game against with Nebraska, the two teams are playing each other because of scheduling. They need to just kind of like ease right into it. Io had a triple-double the last game against Wisconsin. Who would have thought?
Man, Io has been playing his butt off. If you watch some of the games that he has been playing, and that last game was spectacular. To have, I think it might be the second or third player in Illinois history to have recorded a triple-double.
Yeah, it was Mark Smith in '79 and Sergio McLean, I think, 20 years ago, is what I heard.
Wow. Unbelievable.
With all the guys that have come through the program and people that you played with, can you believe that it's been that long?
I know. That's what I was just about to say. Like you would have thought that would happen, a bunch of times. You got D. Brown and Darren Williams and all these great Bruce Douglas, all these great point guards that came out. You would thought that triple-double would have just been coming a lot.
Yeah, I was just truly shocked. And then the other thing that I want to talk about that I really noticed, and you and I have talked about this on different occasions on the phone or through text, is Kofi Coburn finally coming along.
Man, a beast. Me and you talked about this a little bit last year about him coming along, but I think when he made that decision to come back, I think he had a chip on his shoulder because, people were talking, he wasn't ready for the NBA. He needs another year of college. He needs to develop a go-to move. He's a strong man, And
do you think he's ready? Is he ready for the NBA? Need another year?
You know what? The way that the game is played now, it is fast, up and down. The big man has to be able to shoot a three, pick and pops. That's what the game is about, now. I think there's always room for a player like, Coffee to get drafted and be a bruiser, set some screens, post up, get some baskets down low, block some shots. I haven't seen much of him picking and popping and shooting the three-pointer. His free throw form technique looks good. I think that's something that we just gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah, he seems more comfortable slam dunking. He has the record now for slam dunks at Illinois. I think I saw it was somewhere above 70, like 72, 74, and that's only in 2 years. Think about that. Slam dunking.
Yeah, I watch him, and every time, Io gets mad sometime when he makes the pass and he wants to catch it and then put it down. Io's like, dunk the ball, man, dunk the ball. So
he could have been one of the members of the Flying Illini.
Hey, if he was on our team, you said he's doing 70 by himself, and then I think we probably got as a team, probably 25 to 30 dunks in a game. So a year. So Crazy.
Yeah, can't forget about that. And the other thing that I've noticed about Kofi's growth is that he really showed me against Iowa. He's actually putting his body in there. He's actually like, no, this is my area.
And sometimes, Patrick, I think the referees, because he's so big and dominant, that they call some of those what we call flop calls on him a lot when big man doesn't hold their ground and they fall to the ground and they call these offensive fouls on him. I think, he's a big guy. He established himself. I think he has gotten much better than he was last year. I mean, he has a nice little jump hook going to the middle. I see a lot of improvement from Kofi, and I think that's going to help Illinois down the road.
Yeah, I mean, the tournament is about a month away. I mean, you can smell the NCAA tournament from here. The next thing that I want to talk about is fans have been talking about their frustration with Curbelo. Now, this is a kid who he thinks 3 plays away from what is actually happening. And Illinois fans are not accustomed to a kid that can move so quickly on the court. That's more of Brad Underwood's style. And I think as the years go by, we're going to see more Curbelos out there playing for Illinois. But should we just trust the process? Should we be frustrated? From your player point of view?
I think we, as fans, because I am a fan now, I'm not a player anymore, but watching him, and I even watched some old clips of him playing in high school, this is who he is, and I think Brad Underwood and his coaching staff knew that when they was recruiting him to come to the University of Illinois. Speed, lightning quick, can pass the ball, can finish around the basket, nice jump shot mid-range. We haven't seen a lot of the jump shots because he's getting all the way to the basket. This is just the player he is. I think as fans, we should trust the process because he is special, he's talented. And if the fans were in that building, I know he would vibe off the fans because that's what type of player he is.
That's the thing I was going to ask you, was the vibe off the fans. The two-part question. So you think he would thrive off the fans, number one, right? And then I'd also wonder, is Coach Underwood just allowing him to make these mistakes to prepare for next year so he doesn't do the same thing? Because is he let him do that in the game like that?
I think so. I think so because, for one, you're learning on the fly. As you out there, you're learning some of the things that Underwood likes and some of the things that Underwood might let you get away with. Sometimes coaches, sometimes I think you have to let players play through their mistakes and learn from them. And if they don't learn from them, then of course you have to take them out the game, and teach them a lesson and then put them back out there and say, you know what, do it this way because that way is not working.
Well, I see a lot of times. So at the beginning of the season with Curbelo, people were like, why isn't he starting? Why isn't he starting? And then Coach Underwood was talking about how the issue was with his foul problems. And the other issue was with turnover issues. So how do you kind of get all those 3 things, the turnovers, the fouls, and the issues with shooting? Because he's not a real big shooter. How do you mold those? I mean, it's going to take a year, right? Maybe. Yeah, he's going to be in the program a while. Yeah,
and Patrick, college is different from high school, and I think sometimes young players don't see that. He may have been getting away with playing defense the way he was playing in high school, and then he gets to college and they call him fouls on him, because he's reaching in and trying to take balls away and they're calling fouls on him. I think he has to make an adjustment. I'm okay with him coming off the bench because I think he brings energy. I think Illinois needs that energy, down the road. And then next year will be his year. You got him coming back. We know Io's gone. We know Kofi might be gone. So it's going to be spots open for him to come out there and start next year.
So there's spots that I'm thinking of are with Adam Miller, the Ace Wolf, 44 as he likes to call himself. I have not seen him come out and maybe it's because of injury, I'm not sure, but I've not seen him be confident like he was in the beginning of the season, back 2 months ago. What happened, do you think?
I think when you are a volume shooter, he was a volume shooter in high school. You have good players in college. So you're not going to be that volume shooter to get your, game going. So he has to figure out ways to get easy baskets to get him going, maybe a steal, get a layup. When you start off the game and not really in the flow of it, and you touch and you shoot a three and it's not going in, mentally that plays a big part in your game.
Absolutely. And I'm sure, like you mentioned, college basketball is totally different from high school basketball. But when you do play at the AAU level, you've coached at that level, you're familiar with that level. You're playing with kids that are going to be playing Division I basketball anyways, right? So the game, the speed is quick. So he's been a leader before. Why don't you? Do you think he's kind of like timid? He thinks it's more of Io's team?
I wouldn't say that he's looking at it like I'm gonna wait my turn. He wants to contribute now, and I just think that he just don't know when and where right about now, because Io is the leader, and you see that. We done seen it every game, pretty much. I think Adam, he's a freshman, of course. Just like any other freshman, you have to wait your turn. Even though he's starting and getting, decent minutes, it still takes a lot of time for some to adjust to college basketball.
Yeah, we see it every year. There's always some team that needs an adjustment, and who knows, by next December, maybe November, December, January, we're looking at a guy who's on a breakout tour on his sophomore swing. Who knows, right?
Or you never know. During the Big Ten tournament, he might show up and show out, because teams, we all know, Patrick, when the Big Ten tournament starts, they will have a master plan for Io and Kofi. Now someone else going to have to step up and contribute and make a difference in those games.
And let's make it all the way to Selection Sunday, okay? I like that. I like that Big Ten game that leads right into Selection Sunday on CBS. What do you say, right?
Woo! Hey, as of right now, Illinois has a good chance if they win out and do what they supposed to in the Big Ten.
Well, you know what they say.
They can have that number one seed.
And they're slated to be either number 2 or number 1 so far. But you know what they say before we wrap things up. Illinois goes to the Final Four every 16 years. So, 2004, 2005 year was 16 years ago. Before that was 89. So you just never know.
It's that time, baby. It's that time.
All right. So here's the other thing too. In this players show, when we post these videos, what we're going to do for each show, and I'm looking so forward to this, Marcus, is we're going to have not only you on here, but we're going to have some of your teammates from the Flying Illini on here. We're going to have current players and coaches. This will be an Illini basketball fan destination. I'm looking forward to that.
Me too, man. And this is for the fans. This is for the fans.
Until next time, everybody, I'm Patrick. He's Marcus Liberty.
To host a player show or appear as a player on a player show, simply create a profile on Fan Media's iOS app or website. Select your teams and make a short intro video on your phone. Show hosts, reporters, former players, and superfans can use our Get Verified feature and make an intro video as well, and our mobile newsroom staff will reach out.